Welcome to Real Talk with Keith Smith. Good Friday morning, and thank you kindly for joining us. My name is Jerry Miller. It's a pleasure to connect with you guys through the I Love CVille Network on a show that is watched and listened to by anyone and everyone in the real estate business. This show is the intersection of inventory, of new construction, existing construction, detached product, attached product, and ladies and gentlemen, the cross-section of how mortgage rates and escalated household budgets impact units sold. We focus on Albemarle, Charlottesville, and Central Virginia, and we encourage you, the viewer and listener, to chime in on the discussion. It's a program that drives the news cycle, certainly in the real estate world. Folks, giddy up and get ready. Keith Smith is here. Judah Woodcower behind the camera, studio camera, and then a two-shot as we welcome the star of the program with agents left and right watching the program. A Friday. Good morning to you, Keith Smith.
Good morning, my friend. You got a camera on you, Judah? I was actually going to wear that shirt today. I literally got the same shirt, and I'm glad I didn't do it because we would have been matching, and that would have been like weird or something along those lines. Welcome back, brother.
Yeah.
Good to see you. Got a little tan going on.
It's great to be back.
Missed you last Friday. I think I held the fort down.
You did a great job.
Somewhat okay.
Always do a great job.
Well, thank you for lying to me, but I think I held the fort down, and I only got a little bit into trouble, which is not a bad thing. Usually I get a lot into trouble, so maybe I'm going in the right direction.
I don't think you got into any trouble.
Oh, I did.
Okay.
I did.
What was the trouble you got into?
If I say the trouble I got into, I will continue to get into more trouble.
Okay.
So let's say I ended up saying and posting something that maybe I should not have said or posted, but that's okay. That's the fun of a live show. Right? You know, what we do is very different than maybe other podcasts that are very produced and edited, and you can take out a stupid thing that Smith might say. And this is live. This is, what was it? Memorex. Is it live or Memorex? Do you remember that commercial?
I don't remember that commercial. Judah, you remember that one?
Vaguely. Right, it was a guy sitting on the speakers, and it was blowing his, anyways, remember the old, yeah, there you go. The old cassettes, right? Like people used to actually listen to music on cassettes. And is it live or is it Memorex? So anyway, I don't know. I'm full of a bunch of useless stuff, right? Going back to the 80s with Where's the Beef? But, you know, we've been talking about this since I was preparing to the show, Jerry. We've been talking about where the inventory is for 7 years. The fact that we've been doing this for 7 years just blew my mind a little bit this morning. But I keep a snapshot. Everybody knows that's what I do. I take a snapshot every Thursday night, late at night, or early Friday morning, and figure how we're doing it back 7 days. So the second week of June, which is this week, we had 125 new and we had 88 pending. That same week last year, we had 73 new and 90 pending, and the week before in 2024, we had 67 and 96. So inventory has jumped up almost 70-80% in 3 years. But I found it really interesting. The pendings are been consistent, right? You know, 96, 99, and 88 compared to a jump of 67 to 124 is pretty consistent. So you asked earlier about the tempo. It seems like the buyer tempo is still the same. Inventory is just climbing, and you know everybody's been talking about it. Everybody's been wanting it, but now it's here. I'm not so sure everybody's been excited about it, right? You know, it's impacting how we have conversations with sellers and buyers. But anyway, I found that to be an interesting tempo conversation.
We have a graph here, the intersection of gas prices and mortgage rates. Some data points here. I've been a firm advocate and vocal about this. Escalated gas and the impact
You're vocal?
It's doing on outer county real estate engagement or interest. So I just don't see, I'm being very straightforward person. That's why people like the show and watch the network, because I'm unaffiliated. Don't really have to answer to anyone, which is a good thing.
Yes, you do, actually.
I have a wife.
There
yeah,
you go.
I have a wife.
That is a person.
When it comes to my business, she says, go do whatever you want. When it comes to anything in the house, I answer her without question. But when it's the company, it's me calling the shots 100% of the time.
Got it. I think that's why people watch it. We sometimes see things differently in how we interact.
100%.
So
100%.
I knew this was coming, so.
100%. They've dropped below 4, thank the Lord.
390. On the other side of the hill are 328.
Yeah. The geopolitical tension, which we won't get into in Iran, far from resolved.
Yeah.
No one understands what's going to happen.
I think the why will stay away from the fact that it's impacting the market. We need to talk about
100%. 100%. Will it stay? Will it continue to drop? Folks are saying no. And now they're saying the likelihood of any kind of cuts with the Federal Reserve in 2026 are unlikely, and the likelihood of upticks with the Federal Reserve are very likely. Okay. And that's a direct result of inflation.
You know, when we're going to get into this,
sure.
And this is, again, why I love
100%,
doing this.
100%.
But it's interesting, with me preparing for the show today, and you know, the folks that watch it know that we do a lot of work before we sit down and do this conversation. We like to wing it, we like to have fun and all that stuff. But I was just thinking about, and maybe you can run this through between your two ears, since 2019, how much stuff happened, right? Since we've been doing this, right? Everything from interest rates down, you know, the time, you know, the COVID. I was thinking this morning, remember we had the tape, we had to make sure that we were 6 feet away.
100%.
Right, I had a mask on my face to go ahead and have that conversation. So one thing I know for sure, as long as we've been doing this show and as long as I've been in real estate, stuff's gonna change. And I'm actually gonna go see this guy in July. I'm going to owe Robert Liberty $5 every time I say I'm actually going out to Portland. I'm riding the race, a 205-mile race from Seattle to Portland in July, and I'm going to spend the night, you know, overnight with Robert. But to drill down the real estate market to one item is not realistic, right? It's not a silver bullet.
Oh, absolutely
right?
not.
It's multiple things that touch it. But if you take a look at that chart, and I just found it really interesting, from about the second quarter of 2022, gas has been jumping somewhere between 366 and we're now at 390, right? So we've been.
And you have a graph you want him to put on screen? A chart?
Yes. I apologize.
Does he have this one?
Yeah, I just emailed that to you, Jude. I apologize. Yeah, there you go.
Well, but here's my point is, if gas is, let's call gas $4. If gas is $4.
Interest rates are thank you, brother. Oh, I apologize.
Yeah, if gas is $4 and the Federal Reserve is now talking about raising rates, which impacts people's floating debt, credit card balances, and grocery costs are now almost at an all-time high, all these elements are impacting or softening real estate as it applies to outer counties and driving to your place of business or your place of work. So the point I'm trying to make is, I understand it's not just one element, but if you take Lake Monticello, what are we at, 60, 65 units for sale right now?
And that is an impactful number.
1.5%? What are we at, 1.3, 1.75?
Technically, we got 40. We have 4,500 lots. There's
200 that are developable.
Actually, 4,300.
4,300.
And
how many that are for sale?
I have to look at it, but it's ranging between 50 and 60. It has from week to week. I need to fix up. See, I already screwed up on the.
So you're talking about 1.5 to 1.7% of lots. 1.5 to 1.7% of total units in Lake Monticello are for sale.
That's in your inbox, Judah. I'm sorry about that. My apologies. Yeah, so, but I've been there for a long time, and I remember when there was 300 homes for sale and there were 600 homes built there. So to say that we're hovering around 1% is not a big number, right? But 2 years ago, we had a conversation on this show when inventory was in the single digits.
Yeah, it was like 8 or 9 units.
It was in the single digits, right? So, we're making this adjustment into the market from my perspective as the old gray-haired boomer dude in the room. As far as tempo goes, somewhat back into the norm, right? So just to take in a quick snapshot at Lake Monticello, medium days on market in 2019 was 24, 22 and 23, they were down to 5. That's when they were single digit. We're now back up to 28. That said, we're about $125,000 higher in the median sales price than we were now. That's where the mortgage really rate. I think the mortgage rates are impacting the market more than gas.
100%. I think it's across the board. It's the values are flirting with all-time highs. The mortgage rates are flirting with generational highs. The gasoline is flirting with generational highs. And every household item is flirting with generational high. Every item associated with a real estate transaction is floating with either all-time or generational highs.
So if you take a look at this chart thank you, Judah, for doing that. When you take... okay, well, we can talk through it. I'll post it later after the show. I emailed it, but what do I know? But if you take a look in somewhere middle of 2023, our interest rates were somewhere around where we are now, which is 6.85. We were ranging second quarter 23 to third quarter of 23, somewhere in 6.4 to 7%. But if you go take a look at Lake Monticello and look at the 22-23, our median sales price was right around 315. So we've jumped from 315 to 344, let's call it 350, at this affiliated elevated rate, which just is making homes at that price point more expensive. That's why places like Lake Monticello or places that are in this median price range just feels a little sticky right now, because the buyers have to pay more than they were they're paying more for the house to start with, and they're paying more per month. Oh, and by the way, what they're paying more per month ain't keeping up with their income.
Yeah, I just don't...
making. Yeah, so you're going to see micro markets matter. We've been talking about this on the show for a while. This 1 million plus up market is just rocking and rolling. It's going to continue to rock and roll because 50% of the first 5 months of the 1 million and up sales were cash.
So folks aren't impacted by this.
They're not impacted by that, or they end up, putting 50% cash down, which then they get these super preferred rates, and their math works out better that way. So that buyer pool is just doing it. Where this is impacting is the median buyer, the median price range on it. But we just need to work people through this and help them through that. Homes are still being bought. I found the interesting thing that our pending sales in this 1 week snapshot really hasn't changed over the same week over 3 years. It's somewhere between 88 and 96. Right? So people are still buying, transactions are still happening. People were saying back this time last year, oh my God, there's 90 pendings and 73 houses on the market. When is a new home's going to come on the market? Well, guess what? We now have new homes on the market. The point is, and we're going to talk about this more on Friday, the last Friday this month, when we bring in Scott Morris, and I'm actually going to bring Woody Fincham in to talk about that from their perspective on it. But, it's the mortgage rate that I think is impacting the market.
And not great news for mortgage rates. With inflation being sticky, the talk right now is the Federal Reserve is going to uptick their baseline rate. And it's not a direct correlation with mortgage rates. It's an indirect correlation. But when the Federal Reserve upticks rates, mortgage rates generally go up as well. So Scott Morris type of question, Andy Zeman type of question, is the expectation in the second half of 2026 that the mortgage rate on the 30-year or the 15-year is going to be more costly?
I was attended and spoke at a summit in Richmond a week ago, week and a half ago, whatever it was, and there was a couple experts in the room. The short answer is the rates are going to go up.
Yeah. So then we're above 7%.
Yeah, but what's interesting to take a look at is we can go back and look at some of the numbers I did from last Friday, but across the board, the average and median prices are softening. The softening
Depends on the market.
100%. 100%.
The pockets I'm looking at are not softening.
100%. And that's the million and up, right? And the locations matter and micro markets matter. But if you take a look at the big footprint, and we talked about that last Friday, if you take a look at the big footprint, right, of car, the prices are softening a little bit on it. I think you're going to see at the end of the year probably an on par from 2025 versus 2026 for the full footprint. You are taking a look at places like Albemarle County are going to be plus, maybe not double digits, maybe not close to double digits, but they will be plus in the 3 to 6% range, which is really where it needs to be, right? I think that's where the market is going that way. But to your point, you know, if you're in the right location, right price, right features, right condition, right, and you're in the market that people want, this $1 million, we're a lifestyle market. Number 3 in that's this many. Number 3 in not this many, that many. Number 3 in the nation. That's where the multiple offers are coming in. That's where the no home inspections are coming in. Yada yada yada. If you're in this median price range on it, unless, I mean, we talked about it on Friday. This conversation you have at the kitchen table with the seller, you've got to be honest and transparent with people now. The days of, hey, I'm just going to throw a listing out there and see what happens, frankly, at that price point, thank God is gone, right? You've got to sit down and have a conversation with a family across the table and say, look, you know, I think we can get, this is what the market's telling me, and you're thinking this because your neighbor 6 months ago or 12 months ago or 2 years ago sold it up for it. You know, this is where the market is, and we as professionals have to do that. And, you know, take a look, if you can go back and just take a look at, price changes. We're staying, you know, we were having in 2024 almost none, 48. We're up to 95. Almost 100 price changes because people are throwing them on the market, seeing what the market's going to do. Well, guess what? Now you're 2 weeks on the market, 4 weeks on the market. 2 weeks on the market now is like 90 days back to 2019. And now you're playing catch-up ball. You really only get a first shot on getting the price right. And if it ain't in good condition, you know, buyers are just going to walk away from it because we're at 6.85% as of this morning.
This question comes in. This one comes from Crozet. Does Keith think that less units will be sold in 2026 versus 2025? And wasn't 2025 down from 2024 and 2024 down from 2023?
So I think we're going to be seeing markets sold closer to a 2024 volume. I think you're going to see that down. But if you go ahead and take a look at the slides that I did last week, and I didn't give them to Judah. Part of the reason I got into trouble was because of those slides. So we're not going to put those. We're not going to use them. It had something to do with a logo I wasn't supposed to use. So anyway, but as of right now, in the car footprint, that we're up in sales at 7.5% versus last year. Total sales volume is up because the
price point's up.
No, because the upper price point is up, right?
Right.
But the median sales price is down 2.3. The average price is down 3.6. So as of now, if that trend continues, we're probably going to see more sales numbers happen, more total volume happen, but you're going to see the median and the average maybe balance out at the end of the year. But I'll tell you, if that mortgage rate keeps on going up, which everybody's saying it is, All of a sudden, the same people that were saying we're going to be at sub 6 are now saying, well, if we don't make 8, we don't reach 8, that'd be a good thing, right? Or 7, or whatever number they decide to pick out of their hat for
Walk
that.
me through a mortgage environment when we see a 7.5 to 8% interest rate. Walk me through a real estate environment at a 7.5 to 8% interest rate.
Well,
walk me through a real estate market with an 8 handle on a 30 fixed.
Yeah. It's a slow market,
Yeah.
right? Because the price points are so high, right? But we also need to look, and I don't have that data, we got to look at where the mortgage rates are versus our new 139, let's call it $140,000 AMI, right? And where does that fit into the ratio? I really think the impact on cash isn't going to slow our market down, right? The fact that cash is in the market, and overall, we're about a third, 30%.
Yeah, but that cash is in Albemarle County.
No, 30% overall in the footprint.
Yeah, a third of car trades are cash for every unit sold. But that cash is targeting Albemarle County.
Yes and no. I don't necessarily agree with that. The million and up it does, and that's at 50,
that's the cash.
But that's at 50%. But
Yeah.
overall, if you take a look at it, because there are cash transactions that are happening pretty close to the 30% range in all the other jurisdictions.
I'd be willing to do a prop bet with you that here's the prop bet. There's a third of all transactions in Albemarle County, roughly, are cash, right? A third.
No, 30% of the total car footprint.
Yeah, a third
is
of all
30%.
transactions are cash. Is that right?
Third as of the end of May, this is not including these first 2 weeks, at the end of May, it's exactly 20.89, let's call it 30% of
30%.
all transactions.
Yeah, 30% of all transactions in the car footprint are cash. Of that 30%, I would be willing to bet that 60% are in Albemarle County.
I can't do it sitting here, but we can surely do it.
And we don't have to do that for this show. My point is this. Go ahead.
I think you could be true. You know what I'll do? While you're talking a little bit, I'll just take a look at Lake Monticello, right? On what percentage of that is cash.
My point that I'm making with this is if the majority...
I hear you. I hear you. I'm making your point. The reason why we have 60 units at Lake Monticello, 50-something units, I don't have it in front of me on that, and we're at a greater days on market.
What's the DOM on Lake Monticello?
I don't have it in front of me at the moment, but I can...
35 to 40?
Yeah, I would say somewhere along those ranges.
Yeah.
It's why Lake Monticello is getting back to normal. It's why it feels like it's slower. It's not back into this crazy multiple thing. And it takes time for people to adjust onto that. But I do have some, I may have that. Hang on a second here. I may have that Lake Monticello information for you here. And thank you for keeping me on my
Viewers
toes.
and listeners, let us know your comments. Put them in the feed. We'll relay them live on air.
So I can tell you, as of the days on average, I did pull the numbers. Medium days on average right now is 28. We were at 24 in 2019. We were at 2020. We were at 24. Then we dropped from 2020 to 2021. We know all what happened with that. Was 5 days, 4 days, 5 days, 9 days. 25, we jumped it up. These are medians. Jumped up to 18. So we had 1, 2, 3, 4 years at Lake Monticello of below 10 days on market as an average. Then we creeped up to 18. Now we're up to 20, 28. So just from 24, right, which if we take a look at that little market monitor I did, which is 2024, to 28, we jumped from 9 to 28. That's why it feels sticky. But 28 is not that far off where we were in 2019 and 2020. Couple of months ago, I kept on saying, this feels like a 2019 market. The data's starting to prove that, right? It's starting to feel like a 2019 market. Not only are we there, in 2019 and 2020, the sold to list percentage, and this is important, this is what homes went on the market for and what they ultimately sold for, was in 19 and 20, they were 98.4 and 98.3. So let's just call it 98%. We're now back at 98.4%. Excuse me, 98.6%. So we're now back to where what homes are getting listed for are at Lake Monticello versus what they're sold for. It's roughly 98%, so it's just a tad below 100% of the list. And we're roughly at the same medium days on market. 19 and 20, we were at 24, and now we're at 28. That's as of the end of May. That is not calculating in what the next 2 weeks go. So it does feel soft, right? When you jump from 9 to 28 in 2 years, it feels soft.
And, you know, and just speaking straightforwardly, we're not yet flirting with 7.5 on the 30 fixed.
I got it. Back to my D's, though. Right. I don't. No, I won't say it. Because nobody, from Dr. Yoon down to the guy on the corner, knows what rates are going to do.
Yeah.
Right? Only the market knows what the
100%.
rate's going to do, and we don't know what the market's going to do. There's certain triggers that will trigger it. If there's war.
Gas is a perfect example.
Well, the reason I did that chart
Yeah.
is I wanted to track where gas and mortgage rates go, right, on it. So, again, I'll post it later on it. But it was interesting to watch from 2019 to now where it's kind of tracking kind of similar to it. I wanted to see how much gas actually impacted the process. But we're at historic highs on prices, right? We're at kind of interest rates that have been
Flirting with generational highs.
that we're getting to, not generational. We've been at highs for a while. From 72 to now, the average is 7.2, 7.4%. So we're not quite at the average yet.
That is 2 generations.
But we're awfully
Almost 3 generations.
We're awfully close. I'm just talking about from as long as they've been recording it. But for the last 10 to 15 years, we've been kind of holding this, other than this dip, this rate up there. Again, when you take a look at the chart, it'll show it to you. But anyway,
if you call a generation 20 years, let's call it 20 years, right? And that would mean 2006 until 2026. The 30-year fixed is what?
Yeah.
What are we at? 7%? Call it
No,
7?
six, somewhere between 6.5 and 6.75. It depends on who you are.
Yeah,
right?
it depends on the credit, the profile of the buyer.
Yeah.
Let's just call it for the sake of a talk show 7. Okay. So you're at, over the last 20 years, knocking on the door of a 7 handle. That's a generational high. Flirting with it. You're flirting with generational high on gasoline. You're flirting with generational high on rates, on groceries, on household budgets, on electricity, on insurance, on any home improvement project, all while homes are at near all-time highs?
I would say yes. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Income is now up, our income's up, numbers I never thought we'd see.
Yeah, area median income is knocking on the door of 140.
That's awfully close. But it's interesting, Jerry, I hear you, but between, again, 1 week snapshot, we're putting under contract about the same number of homes every week, between 96 and 86, right? We got 96, 90, and 88. We're about there. So I'm going to try to give you your cash number for you here.
Comments coming in. Viewers and listeners, put them in the feed. We'll leave them. We'll relay them live on air. How's a buyer supposed to...
What year did you want to compare cash to?
I mean, the generational... a generation is 20 years.
No, but you're taking a look at what...
I'd say for the first 5 months of the year, January through May, 30% of all transactions in the car footprint are cash.
100%.
My bet is right around 60% of those cash transactions are in Albemarle County.
Okay.
That's what I think. And I think you think it's right around there as well.
Yeah, well, that doesn't take a stretch to get there, right? So when 8 out of 10 $1 million sales are happening in Albemarle County, and 50% of them are cash, it doesn't take a rocket scientist to figure out that is impacting that 30% overall. But I'm really curious, because I never looked at it, on how much cash is, say, in Fluvanna, how much cash is in Green. That we know what cash is impacting.
We're almost at the point with this car real estate market, it's a bifurcated real estate market. Well, and in this bifurcated market, if you want true data on car in Central Virginia, you have to take Albemarle County out of the equation.
Yeah, 100%.
The analysis...
Well, no. You need to look at each jurisdiction. Micro markets matter. You need to look at each jurisdiction.
I'd say every jurisdiction in Central Virginia is most similar to each other except for Albemarle. If you were to take Albemarle out, all the other ones would be very similar to each other, except maybe the anomaly of Greene County due to Stanley Martin new construction.
Yeah, what's interesting, we'll take a look at that here in a minute. It is still being rocking and rolling on that. And yes, new construction, particularly in places like Greene County,
because are skewing the data.
Well, it is the data.
Yeah, it is the baseline. It is the baseline.
It is the data.
Right. It is the baseline.
It is what's happening out there. So hang on one second, buddy. I'm gonna just out of curiosity.
Comments have come in. This one is: so how is someone supposed to compete if they don't have cash?
That is a great question. Let me look at Fluvanna real quick on the percentage of cash, and then we'll talk about it.
I don't think there is an answer for that, viewers and listeners.
Well, it depends on what market you're in.
Like, I mean, if you're looking to jump into a market and your competition is cash, you're going to have a hard time winning. On just shooting you straight here.
So to your point, Fluvanna County, there was a total of 125 sales year to date. 16 of them were cash.
So what are we talking about? 11%?
Yeah, it's
125.
Let's call it. 10% would be 12, right? So
12%. We're talking about 125.
Yeah, somewhere around 12%.
Yeah,
so
12%.
To your point. So the answer to that question is where are you going, right?
Yeah.
But if you're in the $1 million, I mean, I have clients at that price point that we're losing out to cash that are very well-heeled buyers. They just don't have $1.5 million, $1.25 million in cash. So how you have to leverage that, and that same scenario happens at the 450 mark or the 350 mark, right? The thing is you're not competing against cash so much anymore. You used to, right? You used to be able to do that. A couple of years ago, cash was pretty heavy in that particular market. So how do you compete at that particular market against cash? You're not, right? We're just looking at it. Only about 12% at the Fluvanna County level is cash. So you're not really competing against cash because there's always been cash in the market, right?
I would even ask you this question. Of the $1 million transactions that happen in the car footprint, how many $1 million transactions happen outside of Albemarle County?
I've actually got those numbers from last weekend. I just don't have them in front of me.
In the first 5 months of the year, the $1 million.
Hold on a second.
I would say 75% of the transactions that are $1 million plus are happening in Albemarle County.
Hold on a second. I've got a slide from.
It's become an anomaly, Albemarle County, and has to be taken out of the data set with Central Virginia real estate.
No, I got that number for you. I just can't use the slide because I'll get into trouble again.
No problem.
81.6%.
I said 75%. I'm right on.
You're a little off, but 81.6%, you're close.
Or $1 million plus, or in Albemarle County.
If you're playing horseshoes, you'd be close.
Yeah, I take 6% difference off the.
If you're
shooting from the cuff.
If you're throwing hand grenades, you'd be close to. Of all the $1 million sales across the region, and I've corrected my logo edit on these slides. We'll post them later today on my Facebook page. All of the of the 1 million and up sales across the region occurred in Albemarle County. 81.6%. So it's an interesting thing on that. But Albemarle County, to your point, we're up 2.2% in closed sales. Median sales price went up 1.8. Average sales price went up 0.7%, so roughly 1% on that end of it. So, but yeah, you're roughly 12%. If you're at this price point and you're competing against that, you know, there's other items other than cash that makes a good deal, right? You can offer more money, we can have less conditions or terms and all that kind of great stuff. But if you're competing against cash, and that's one of the first questions I ask the other side when there's multiple offer, are we competing against cash? Sometimes they answer it, sometimes they don't.
I would never answer that question.
Yep, sometimes they answer it, sometimes they don't. But you got to ask it, right?
What is the upside of the listing agent answering that question?
I wouldn't. But
what is the upside?
There's, on which side? Asking the question or?
No. I understand why you asked the question. The listing agent who has a multiple offer scenario, what is the upside of answering that question?
It depends on when the question is.
I guess at the bottom of the ninth inning, you would answer it. And that way you could potentially drum up a competing offer that is going to beat it on price or on contingency.
So, change gears.
Yeah.
In negotiations, what's the saying? Who usually wins?
The person who talks first is going to lose.
There you go.
Yeah.
So the question is, when is that question asked?
Yeah.
Right. And you know, and having the skill to navigate that when that question is asked. I would only answer that depending upon when it's asked from me on the other side.
100%.
And what else I know I have on the table.
I would answer that question if I had a cash offer in hand that was buttoned up in the bottom of the ninth inning to try to drive a competing offer that was going to win on price or on home inspection or contingency.
Or you're in a multiple offer and escalation clause. You're trying to get a little bit of a better feel for what's going on. I guess my comment that I have, and it's just something that always, again, gets me into trouble. I just don't understand why our industry don't talk to one another. It just drives me nuts. We just don't have conversations. So, hey, Jerry, tell me about your buyer. Hey, Keith, tell me about your seller. Now, we know where our lines are. We know what we can say and we can't say. And it all depends on where the conversation is. If I got nothing on the table, right, and you're my first, buyer agent on it, yeah, we're going to have a little bit of a more free-flow conversation. But on the buy side, I want to get as much information from what the seller is trying to do that I can get out of that other side, so I can help my buyer move along. The same thing on the seller side. We just got to be a little careful about how we share information, but we should share information.
The other wild storyline to follow is the impact of, now we're a little bit down the road from this. I don't think we're going to.
Are we going to talk about the new jobs coming in?
Yeah. I mean, I think that's about 18 months away, and I'm not one who likes.
I think it's sooner than that.
I think you might be right.
The only reason I know it's sooner than that because I know the tempo of what they're doing.
Yeah. And
I also know there are people coming in being brought in for positions and looking for houses. That is just going.
Because those folks, you can make an argument maybe coming in with cash. Because those folks likely are selling somewhere else and moving here.
Or the company's writing a check.
There you go. Have some kind of relocation purse.
It's cash no matter how you do it.
Yeah.
I found
that's what I'm trying to time.
I found it interesting on timing that Realtor.com and the Wall Street, I think it was Wall Street Journal. I think it was New York Times. I think it was Wall Street Journal listed us number 3 in lifestyle, right? So we're now changing the term from luxury to lifestyle, right?
Yeah, that's just branding.
Well, it is and it isn't. People are have always moved into this region since I've been doing this since 1987, right? The price points are different, but they've always been moving in for the mountains, right? For the university, right? For the, the things we can do, basketball, football, there's everything from my favorite opera all the way down to whatever, but there's all these great things to do, vineyards and all that stuff. People are moving into that market, always been moving into it. They're just moving in at a bigger dollar number right now. And with this without more inventory, right? New inventory, the pressure on the $1 million up market is just going to be immense. And it's going to continue along. But anyway.
I think you're doing a hell of a job.
I'm trying, brother. I'm trying. Cash is king. Just going through my things here. I just wanted to talk a little bit about Greene County real quick. Greene County.
The rock star.
Is the rock star. We're up 37.4% in sales, so that's the highest in the region. So year over year, we're up 37%. We've had 125 sales from January to the month. It's the strongest buyer demand. The median and sales prices are softening, but I want to talk a little bit about why. They're softening. The median's down about 2.1%. The average is down 3.6%. I didn't break it down because I don't have it, but if you take a look at the new construction numbers, they're very, very level, very flat. What's happening, and we've been talking about this for a while, new construction is impacting the resale market, right? When you have between 1,500 and 2,500, depending on who you talk to, depending on what site plan you look at, right? What project you're looking at of new construction units hitting the market. Greene County is just a big subdivision right now. And what happens in a subdivision? You always want to be when new construction comes in, you always want to be the first one in or the last one in. You never want to be in the middle in it because, if you got to resell for whatever reason, the new construction unit is going to impact that. That dynamic, unless I'm looking for 500 acres or 100 acres or 50 acres somewhere else, but if I'm looking for this median price home of 425, 450 in that range, which is where the market is right now, that's where you're going. Oh, by the way, builders are offering one heck of us financing deals. Builders are offering paying for closing costs. And oh, by the way, I looked at this for another show. I just don't have it with me. The average square footage of new construction has dropped from about 3,000, which was about 10 years ago, to about 2,200 square feet right now. So homes are getting smaller, getting more expensive, right? They're now tailored to me.
First floor living.
Boomer.
More efficient
on it. They're introducing stuff like, hey, I don't have to cut grass and yada, yada, yada into it. But you will see in Greene County, I think, the impact of new construction. So if you're a real estate agent and want to do some business in Greene County, you better brush up your new construction lingo.
How many units in Greene County coming in the next 24 months?
Depends on who you talk to, right?
Well, you're the guy to talk to on this.
Yeah.
You're intimately close to this.
Yeah.
I had one of the...
Give me that time slot again.
I had one of the, not using any names.
Yeah.
Known builders say, use your name and say, he's been a tremendous asset in this development project.
Oh, got it. Yeah.
Exact conversation, exact phrase.
Were you talking about my ass on air?
No, I was talking about you in a positive way, like I always am. And the response from a connected person was, he's been a tremendous asset in this.
Yeah. So timing matters, right? What's number 5, right? Location, price, features, condition, timing. So we're having a timing conversation. And the problem with this timing conversation is there's so many factors outside of the ones we're talking about. There's everything upstream between, approvals, funding streams, getting on people's schedules. Just to get on people's schedules at the engineering level is impossible. Where projects are held up because you can't get them out of the engineers' offices in time, not even before you hand it to the county or you hand it to VDOT or you hand it to DEQ or anybody along that alphabet soup on it. You're going to see, I think, and we'll check the numbers out, a steady flow of it's going to be a little wide, between 250 and 500 new construction units hit the market. I think you're going to be higher to 500 year over year, probably for the next 10 years. And oh, by the way, where was Fluvanna County for 20 years?
Well, your county doesn't want any development.
No. I said for 20 years.
Yeah.
That's now. Fluvanna County was the number one largest, fastest growing county year over year for almost 2 decades, decade and a half for sure. And I know that because I was building back in those days. It'd be nothing for Fluvanna County building permits to have a year between 450 and 800, between 400 and 800 building permits. They did that for 20 years. It was all Lake Monticello. Moved in, there were 600. Then all of a sudden, now you got 4,500. So you do the math, right? And that there has not been in the last 5 to 8 years more than 200 new construction units built in Fluvanna County. So about 5 to 8 years ago, it stopped. So if you do the math, it works out to about that. You'll see you'll see that kind of production out of Greene County. You're going to see that, I think, on the light side, depending on the year and the mortgage rates and timing of units coming on ground, somewhere in the 250 to 500 new units per year.
Ray Cadell giving you some props, loving what he's seeing right now.
Ray's a good guy.
Great guy.
I think the world of him.
Holly Foster, Jason Hampshire, watching the program. Like and share the show, viewers and listeners. I see a number of realtors. I see folks with elected officials. I see congressional team members watching the program.
Big show next Friday. That's our third Friday. We're going to have Tim Hodge from Fluvanna County Board of Supervisors, Ned Galloway as our stand-in every third, and we're working on trying to get somebody from Charlottesville to come in. That's been a struggle. They don't just feel comfortable sitting and having this type of conversation. I think they want to.
The 19th.
That's the 19th. That's next Friday. Mm-hmm.
This question's come in here for Keith Smith. Does he predict that rates could fall or would fall in the next 12 months? It's impossible for us.
Don't we have crystal balls here?
Impossible for us to know that. I'll stand up for Keith.
I'll say this much. I
mean, we get this question.
Yeah. I'll say this much. Only if the geopolitical hiccup that's going on right now stops like now. It'll take
forever.
It'll take 6 months
to recover from this.
Minimum 6 months.
We haven't even, viewers and listeners don't want to hear this. You haven't even felt the real price sticker shock of groceries and household budgets as it applies to gasoline.
I think. Look, the two of us.
If you think groceries are expensive right now, wait till you see the price for groceries in 4 months. If you think beef is expensive right now, wait till you see the price of beef in 4 months.
But I think you're actually going to see gas stabilize. And I think look, the markets have very fickle memory. And as you know how gas works, the futures go ahead 6 months. So what you really need to do is look at the gas futures, the oil futures. What's the number trading projected to trade 6 months from now? That's the one you really need to be watching. I think there's.
I mean, Iran just did a drone attack.
Yeah.
Yeah, you saw that, right?
Yeah.
He's dealing with the most dishonorable people possible.
Yeah. Well,
and we're not talking politics at all.
Yeah, well, everybody knows I have very personal connection.
I know you do.
Because I wear hearing aids because of all this stuff. So,
yeah.
But anyway, and lost some very good friends back in the 80s. I'm not, we as Americans, it's very interesting. I was on stage the other. I'm going to pivot on you a little bit. I was on stage and talking, and AI came up, and we were talking about AI and how it impacts business and how, and particularly real estate. And I was asked this question by somebody like you that's very sharp and knows how to follow up and put me on my heels. And I said, look, AI makes a guy that should not have graduated high school. I should not have graduated high school. Have no formal education. All of a sudden, my IQ is up like this. Now, as Reagan said, trust but verify.
Yeah.
Right. You need to. You just don't ask it and walk away and think that's the answer. It's just a tool to help you get better.
If you want a tip on this, you use ChatGPT?
I use all of them, actually.
Which one are you subscribed?
I've subscribed to all of them. I've liked Claude a lot better lately.
Have you used Gemini yet?
I have used Gemini.
Gemini's phenomenal.
I like Claude a little bit better.
Why do you like Claude better? Just out of curiosity.
I think it understands me a little bit better.
Okay. So I'm using Gemini first.
Yeah.
And then whatever Gemini spits out, I'll run it through ChatGPT, and occasionally I'll run it from ChatGPT into the Meta. And I'll triple check it with 3 different AIs.
That's it. And that's what got me into trouble last weekend, by the way. I do all the data.
Yeah.
The data
is great, dude.
The data I do is on a spreadsheet. Then I ask AI to generate
a report. Put it in words.
And put it in words and all that kind of great stuff. Because, as one of my clients, God love.
You do a great job with it, Keith.
Thank you. They asked me one time, let's go play the adjective game. I didn't know what the hell an adjective was.
This is Mona Daniel.
Yeah, Mona. Thank you. Didn't know what
Mona and Trevor Daniel, awesome people.
Did not know what a thing. But what it does is it makes a guy that does
an adjective rate sheet.
It was fun. Well, then she realized
a laminated one.
She realized I was a rock, and then she decided, I need to educate this guy. And I keep that around. She was 100% right. But like I was saying, it makes a guy. And I went into detail how freaking uneducated I am. But I do not have a formal education.
But that doesn't matter.
My point is now it makes me my IQ just went up.
Your IQ's always been high.
But thank you. But what really matters in today's business, and particularly real estate, is your EQ.
100%.
If you cannot
EQ and how you can manage issues that arise with poise, and have a network of people that can help solve problems for you. That's what I'm really good at. I need a little more EQ.
Pardon?
I need a little more EQ. But what I'm very good at is figuring out. This is what you're very
Many
good at.
people I talk to would never disagree, would not disagree with that.
But I can solve problems very well.
No. See, I know you differently than maybe most people do.
You do.
Your EQ is a lot higher than you let out. That comes across. But
thank you.
I think so anyway. So everybody's focusing on how can I master AI. You should do that. Freaking master your EQ, because the EQ is what's going to make you money. Everybody is all of a sudden going to be a freaking Einstein because of AI, right? At some level, you know.
You and I, Judah and I were having this conversation.
I mean, I'm literally a guy who cannot. I struggle spelling my own name, right?
It's been impressive what you've been putting out. I'll say that. I've been impressed.
Well,
I mean, the graphs, the artwork, the charts.
And so anybody out there that has a real bad case of ADD, freaking AI is great for that.
Right. You know, the advice I would give to the folks is that, like your point, I think everyone's going to be using Claude, ChatGPT, the Meta, the Gemini AIs. I think the people that can get back to an analog, like a human connection, analog type of communication.
Voice to voice, face to face.
Those people are going to kill it.
Voice to voice, face to face. People,
that will kill it. Taking a client to dinner and having from start to finish a successful dinner.
An actual conversation.
A conversation. Those people will win.
Yonna and I I'm very fortunate, beyond lucky. We love to connect with people. We love to do it. Everybody knows we go down to St. Martin a couple of times a year and yada, yada, yada. And we like to go out to eat and we like to interact with people, and this is what we love to do. I cannot tell you how it just blows my mind when I'm sitting down and Yonna and I having a meal, having a conversation, talking to the waiters, talking to whoever, whatever table's around you, having a conversation, and I look up and I see a young couple in paradise.
On their phones. Having
a dinner to die for, a meal that is just off the charts to die for, and they're doing this.
Text neck.
And I looked at Yonna and I said, I wonder if they're talking to each other. I wonder if that's how they communicate.
Dude, you know what's ridiculous? This is what's ridiculous and what pisses me off
and
so
then,
much.
Of course, I might have a martini or two.
And you say something.
I go, geez, well, no, what I'll do is literally, this is what I'll do. I'll walk up to them, walk by them or whatever, and I go, hey guys, how you doing? Where you from? Because that's what you do down there. Where you from? What do you do? How many times you've been to the island? Yada, yada, yada. As a hint to, hey, why don't you just have a conversation? There's so many cool people that are around you. I mean, you sit down and next thing you know, you're talking to a guy that owns the 10th largest mega yacht in the world, or a couple of strippers. It could be either one, right? It's true. It is, and they're cool.
I can't imagine you after 2 martinis.
Yeah, I don't do. I'm
you after 2 martinis.
I'm a one.
Your pants around your ankles.
I'm 100%. I am such a lightweight. I'm a 1 martini guy, and that's it. But if I should sneak out a second one, Yonna goes, "Uh-oh, here we go."
Yeah. Uh-oh. I mean, because
so just to real quick. Oh, what's that?
I'm joking. This is you with your underwear.
You know what the most?
I thought that was a signal to wrap it up.
No. That's not a wrap it up. We're totally fine. You know what
It's not. How cute. You actually think I wear underwear down there. But anyway.
You know what pissed me off? This is what pissed me off recently.
But who does that?
I was communicating with a someone in their mid-30s that does deal brokerage.
Yeah.
This is about something commercial.
Yeah,
I'm not going to say who it was.
Sure.
And then I pick up the phone and call.
They answered.
Goes to voicemail.
Oh, yeah.
And then as soon as I leave the voicemail, I get a text. Hey, how can I help you? What's up?
Yeah.
What's going on?
There's
Literally.
a reason I called.
And then I called again. And I was like, can't talk right now, but I can answer your questions via text.
Yeah.
I'm like, let me understand something.
No.
No, but
No.
there's
I
a
do
history
not.
of that.
I do not want to be holier than the Pope, right?
I've seen that with even
I've done that.
boomer agents.
I've done that. I've done that. Now I was in a meeting, right?
Yeah.
And I will always, if you and I are in a meeting and I get a text that I have to respond to, I'll ask permission from you first. I said, do you mind if I just respond to this quickly, right? And because I want to be present, which is really hard for a guy with ADD, by the way.
Yeah.
I want to be as present as possible. Talk about ADD. Year to date in Greene County, we're at 60 transactions of new construction. And I can tell you, hold on a second here, what's more important, that's sold. Let me see what pending is total. Yeah, total we're at 125. So we'll hit about 250, I think, this year.
I mean, that's the rock star.
Yeah. You're right now between sold and pendings, about 125, plus or minus. I think I might be missing. Yeah, it's probably higher than that. I'm only doing.
This question's hilarious.
Detach.
So Keith, you're saying Claude can help me buy a house this year?
Sure. Well, people believe that. People believe that. Hang on a second. I got somebody bugging me. People believe that, right? And you can use Claude. You ever run Ask Claude or Gemini about you?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I've done it multiple times.
Yeah. It's pretty interesting, isn't it?
I've done it in like strengths and weaknesses.
It's very interesting.
Have you done that?
I have. Yeah. It's very interesting.
And then I'll take a deep dive. Like I did it like the other day. I was like,
But it's not an ego thing.
oh no.
This is how can
How
I
do you
get
get better?
How can I get better?
Jinx, touch something red. That's 100% what I did.
How can I
And
get
frankly,
better?
what I focused on was the negative. I didn't give rat's ass about the positive because there's a lot of positive out there.
we know EQ is one of those things.
I didn't care about the positive at all. I just cared about the negative.
Well,
And you know, its analysis was pretty damn good.
yeah, I get pushback all the time, and I always say, I'm telling you, I'm saying this publicly. You have more EQ than people know. I've seen it firsthand.
Oh, well, I appreciate that. Yeah.
But voice to voice, face to face.
100%.
If you can't master that, if you can't pick up the phone,
Yeah.
if you can't have a conversation, hey Jerry, we're trying to make a deal work, right? If you can't even do that on the front end, how do we? Sorry, somebody's bugging the hell out of me. My hearing
Same
aids
person?
are- It's a scam.
Yeah.
How are we going to work to a real problem?
That's what I'm saying.
How are we going to work through? Here's a real example.
Yeah.
How are we going to work through a bunch of professionals, really high quality professionals on the other side, Same on my side, multi-million-dollar transaction on that kind of great stuff. You know how much I hate effing personal property.
Yeah.
Came down to a safe. And somehow or another, I was on the buy side, the other person was
A
on
safe?
a safe,
Okay.
a gun safe, to be
Okay.
more specific.
All right. So those are a couple grand.
Huge safe,
So we're
huge
talking
thing.
3 or 4K.
It's a pain in the ass to move,
Yeah, yeah.
yada, yada, yada. My guy doesn't want it because he's not a gun guy, right? But
Someone wants to leave it.
somebody wants to leave it, so forth and so on. And, transactions are so complicated right
What'd
now.
you just say? I'll pay for it to move it? What's that, 500 bucks to move?
No. They threw a number out. I said, great, then give me a personal property agreement for a number, which was, you couldn't hire somebody to move it for this number. And my guy says he'll take it, right? And he'll figure out what to do with
Turn
it.
it into a bar.
Just to make the transaction go smoothly. Forgot to send the personal property agreement. You know how deals get at the end, right? Everybody's trying to sell. Nobody brought it back up. It closed. The seller wants the $400. Now there's a safe in the house. It's closed. The guy owns it, right? So to the point of having to work things out, I called my client. I said, look,
Just split it, 200 a pop.
I said, no, to my clients, my client is a rock star. Picked up the phone and said, look, everybody missed it. I take some ownership on it. I know we wanted it, and we ended up there. I didn't see the personal property tax. I said, but this is how much they want, right? It's only a couple $100. I'll eat half of it. The agent on the other side will eat half of it. But I just want to let you know this is what we're doing. He goes, you know what? I'll pay the whole thing. Just did the right thing. But if I couldn't work this out with with the agent on the other side, who's a pro, who answers the phone and said, look, okay, we're post-closing. Okay, how can we make this work, right? Right, because, I got a client that's a multi-million-dollar client. I want to keep that client happy, right? Because they want them to do business. She has a multi-million-dollar client. And plus, we want to be professionals. So my point is, if that other person wasn't a person that picks up the phone and talks, number 6, who's on the other side matters. Location, price, features, condition, timing. Right now, that matters more than anything. So pick up the phone and talk to each other.
Keith Smith dropping knowledge.
Ooh, 11:22.
You're
Sorry.
fantastic. No problem. No problem.
Well, we cobbled something together.
We always do, Keith. And next week, you got a Rockstar panel.
Yep, got Ned Galloway coming, Tim Hodge from Fluvanna County, 2 Board of Supervisors. We're going to keep this series we're doing every third Friday of the month, where we're going to be talking about local politics. And
I thought last week's show was great.
well, thank you.
One of your panelists was pumping on social media about starting their own show. He liked it so much.
No, did not see that. But God bless you. I don't know how you track all of this stuff, but my brain is just trying to focus on what I'm.
You do a great job with it.
What I'm doing. We might have a 4th seat. I'm trying to entice somebody from Charlottesville, City Council.
Your
to come
best
on.
bet on that is Lloyd Snook.
Yeah.
I bet you Lloyd would do it.
Yeah. Well, you follow the chain of command on how these things work, right? You start from the top and you work your way down. And
a lot of turnover in City Hall. You had the head of Neighborhood Development Services, who's been on the job less than 2 years, leave. You have an assistant city manager on the job for less than 5 months, leave. And you, frankly, I don't think have any building inspectors on staff right now. They may have 1 building inspector on staff for all of Charlottesville. Word on the street is they're trying to outsource it to a third party.
the building inspection.
Yeah.
I'm in favor of that.
Oh, 100%.
That and the review process needs to be, I've been advocate of that. Third party.
The Charlottesville building inspector compensation is so paltry.
So I was going to say, I've been actually, not this Thursday, but last Thursday, I was a little emotional on Friday. Last Thursday was my last, I'm off all my boards as of that, after 15 years. And that was a big move for me. Really big move. Really good. I know how you feel about it, but back on the EQ side, that was super important to me because I made a difference. But it was time to walk away and move on. But I'm actually not moving on. I'm just involved in a very different way that allows me to control my schedule a little bit more. Look at every very few, there's certain jurisdictions, like Greene County, for example, like Jim Friedel has been at the county for decades, right?
Great guy.
But you take a look at Fluvanna County, they change planning directors like you and I change underwear, right?
Econ Dev directors too.
They change that. And why is that?
Because the compensation's paltry.
I will tell you, 15 years of being on the Thomas Jefferson Planning District Commission. I was there for 15 years. Do you know what my number one, what I was most happy with that I was able to achieve?
Staff consistency?
It had something to do with staff.
What?
Get them to pay closer to market rate. We had tremendous turnover on that because what we were paying people.
Is that what Susan did at one time?
No. This is that's the land trust. This is the Thomas Jefferson Planning District Commission.
Oh, that's the office over on Water Street.
That's a public.
Johnny and Jenny, the landlords over there.
That's right.
Yeah.
This is a.
You guys just renewed that lease.
That's right.
Yeah.
They did a great job, by the way. Renovated the whole
You got
building.
some open spaces in that building.
They do. Good job on the commercial brain going. My point is it's a public body. It's a like a board of supervisors. It's a public body. We weren't paying our people, and we're losing them. And I kept on raising my hand and going, well, maybe you think you're losing them because you're not paying enough money. Now, if we didn't have the money, that's one thing. But when you have the money and you're not paying them, that's something else.
You got to ask the question, and I've been asking
But anyway,
the question.
I got the.
How much longer does Sam Sanders have?
A lot of that's personal stuff. Where's he at in his life and stuff like that.
Because it's a revolving door, that
I
position.
will tell-
and look at what he's going
I
through.
will tell you and I've actually did the math, and we're way over time. If you take a look at statistically, county administrators, city managers, historically average about 7
Yeah.
to 8 years.
Yeah.
Right? Now, there's some that you go back and look at that were there for decades, right? But on average, if you look at our footprint, it's usually 7 to 8 years. By the way, back on all this data, what we didn't talk about that I think is a big impact on the market, when you go back to 2019, the average time somebody owned a home was 5 to 7 years. We're now north of 10. We're 10 to 12 years.
100%.
That is a huge impact on
inventory, on what's available.
Yeah. So it's not just one silver bullet, it's a silver buckshot.
It's so many things.
That's $10 I know of Robert Liberty.
Keith Smith.
And he
Real Talk with
watches,
Keith
so I
Smith.
got to pay him when I see him.
He's a great guy, Robert. We should get him back on the show. We've had him on in the past.
I have, but I can't afford to fly the man from Portland.
You got him on via Zoom.
On when
This guy.
and he and I go out for a cocktail after I ride 205 miles, assuming I can go out for a cocktail after that. I will invite him back on, but he's retired and him and his husband have moved on. So
Keith Smith, ladies and gentlemen, he's one of the partners at Yes Realty Partners, and Yes Realty Partners is a trusted partner in this game we call real estate. Since 1987, Keith and Yonna Smith have worked in real estate, and Yes Realty Partners are honest as the day is long. That's very
maybe
honest.
everybody else.
That's very honest.
Yeah.
You did a hell of a job today.
Thank you. Had fun.
Hell of a job.
Judah, thanks, man.
Judah Wickower behind the camera. This is Real Talk with Keith Smith, the I Love CVille show at 12:30. And boy, oh boy, do we have a lot of...
Oh, man, what you talking about?
The superintendent saga?
Oh, no.
Resigned last night under massive pressure from the Albemarle County School Board, Dr. Matthew
Oh,
Haas of
yeah.
Albemarle County.
I've been tracking that. Yeah.
Holy crap.
Well, I've got a meeting at 12, so I won't be able to watch. So.
The show will offer the most investigative and detailed analysis of what happened.
Yeah. And I have cash in case you get arrested. I can bail you out.
Video clips, ladies and gentlemen.
Remember, EQ. EQ.
Judah Wickower, Jerry Miller, Keith Smith, Real Talk.
Love you, Jerry. Thanks,
Solo.
man.
Correct. Nice to